Hello everyone, my name is Bloodborne Pathogen. I am the owner of Pathogen Survival Daisy. In today's tutorial, we're going to go ahead and show you how to make a simple override file. I'm not really going to go into how to set up Daisy tools or anything like that. We'll do that in a different video. Right now, my Daisy tools isn't really working. I'm just going to show you basically how to do an override, and we'll do the videos on everything else a little bit later. Now, good thing about the overrides is it's one of the easiest ways to customize your server. If you have certain items and stuff that you want more slots, you want um, more attachment, like actual like attachment slots and stuff like that. You can do this all with a simple override. More HP, less HP, armor if you wanted certain items when equipped to provide armor to the character. Now, I'm not entirely sure what would happen if you added armor to a backpack, for example, which normally doesn't have armor. I would assume if you shot somebody from the side the backpack is equipped, it would probably reduce the damage coming in that way. But to be perfectly honest, I don't know. But I do know if you add armor to like a t-shirt, for example, if you hit the chest area, it should reduce the damage by whatever that level is. So we're going to go ahead and start up. I'm going to open up my folder. We're going to go to P drive. Now, if you did this properly with setting it up, you extract um, all the Dayz data into here. So go to DZ. You want to go into gear. We're going to look at. Let's go ahead and do. I think it's camping. No. Yeah, we'll do camping. We'll do a sea chest, for example. Um, these are all the P3D files, so these are the model files right here. I don't recommend messing with those unless you know what you're doing. That's a good way to get DMCA'd, especially by the mod creators. Generally speaking, you can pretty much get away with modifying this just by changing the PAA file. I'm not going to show you how to do a reskin today. This is just for a simple override. But you want to open up the config. If you do a search, for example, for sea chest, boom, there's sea chest. So what we're going to do here is go Control A and C. We're going to copy this. We're going to go back to the P drive. I'm going to open up a new folder. We're going to call it Pathogen Sea Chest. We're going to make a new text document called config. I believe it's CFG. Or no, CPB, I think. Let me just double check this real quick. Daisy gear goes camping. CPP, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and paste this in here. So generally speaking, this is what you would do even for a modded, is find the config file with the thing that you want. You're gonna copy it in here, you're gonna paste it. We're gonna go all the way to the top because we're going to create a new override file. So this is Daisy gear camping. So what we want to do is we want to tell the game that we're going to modify this file. So you're going to control X and you're going to put this in a required add-on. Now this is critical because we want to make sure that the game knows not only do you have to open up Daisy data, but you also need to open up Daisy gear camping. So this file should be loaded after Daisy gear camping. What we're going to do is we're going to put in pathogen sea chest. If you're going to change a bunch of stuff in here, then you would just change this to whatever this is, but this is just going to be a sea chest override. You generally want to try and name these specifically so that it's easy to modify later if you need to go in and fix something. We can go and delete the units. Inventory base, container base, probably want to keep these for the most part. But we can technically click here, go down to sea chest, and delete all of this. Oh, that did not work. delete. Technically, actually, I think what we could do is just go ahead and delete all this. We want to put a class C chest, semicolon, Control C, Control V, and then let's do pathogen C chest. And what you can do if you wanted multiple different types is go ahead and do a base. So this basically is how you change it. Scope you generally keep the same. Display name you can change those or keep them the same. Like let's say I'm going to do 5 reskins, for example. Or let's say there's like 3 different tiers of C chest. I can make it so that the description is different on each one. But basically, if I do it this way, then I can copy this and put this at the end. So like for example, we're going to go ahead and go down to the next item. So we don't need any of this stuff. We can actually go and trim out all this bloat. Delete. So this is the armor values. These are the RV mats. So based off of what damage is taken. So let's say you think the C chests are breaking too quick, you can up the HP so that it takes more shots. This is the transfer, so I believe if you put this to 0, it means that this will ruin and not damage anything inside. I don't remember how it behaves if the HP drops to 0, but like let's say you made this 10,000, and then you make this like a protective case where it transfers no damage. This should make it so that this has an extremely high HP so it doesn't ruin as quick, and nothing will get damaged inside. It'll fully protect everything. Health levels, technically, we don't need any of that because we are not modifying. We just modified the HP. Make sure you're keeping an eye on the brackets, so you should always open and close. This is one of the quickest ways to fuck up. Here's the armor. So this, I believe, means it will take... might be reversed. I want to say this is it'll take 80% of the damage. So if you wanted to drop up the armor so it takes less damage, you would drop it to 2 and stuff like that. But we're not going to change that right now, so we're going to go ahead and delete that. Make sure our brackets are working. We don't. If you wanted to change the sounds, this is where you would do so. You would call it a certain way. I'll make a tutorial on how to do that later. We don't need this. We're not gonna. This is just trimming the contents of what we need. So delete that. So we changed the health. Here's the cargo. So this is the cargo size. So it's a 10 by 10, which is 100. Right? Yeah. Openable. Basically, C chest right now, you don't open it. If you change this to 1, I believe it will make it so you have to prompt open. But let's say you wanted it to be 100 by 100 or 20 by 50, 20 by 30. So this will be 20 across, 30 down. You can change that. Basically, anything that you're not altering, you want to delete. So we're just going to change the cargo size. Here's hidden selection textures. So one thing that's important is if you're going to fuck with the PAA file. So what you can do is actually, if you go into here, so Dayz gear camping data. So we're going to go back to here real quick. Go back to here. Dayz gear camping data, and then look for the C chest. So one thing to keep in mind too is, let's say the gun wrap, like the ghillie wrap and the ghillie suit actually share the same PAA file. So you want to pay attention to what this says specifically. Here's the C chest. So you generally would only modify the CO file. Oh, Yeah, I can't open it right now because my tools isn't working. But you would generally open this into text view, I believe, and you can basically turn this into a PA file or a PNG file, so you can modify it later. But if you're going to change the textures, this is how you would do it. Sometimes it'll have multiple hidden selections, so you would have to input this for each time. Let's say there's 3 hidden selections. You would have to input this. You'll notice there will be 3 PA files for it. In this case, like if there was a biosloth, not biosloth, pathogen C chest, you would make something like this, but change the path, which that's super easy. Basically, just go back to your mod. Where is it? Pathogen C chest. You would have a data folder here if you're going to do a reskin. Data. Let's do this for now. But let's just say image. I'll show how to do this in another video too. Click on this, copy as a path. Replace this. We're going to ignore that it's a text file and pretend that it's a PNG or a PAA file, sorry. You delete the file path, you don't need that. And then now this would reference whatever that graphic is. I do think you need this. Rotation flags, you don't need, can be digged is for buried, so if you don't want these buried, turn that to 0. Again, anything you change, you want to keep in here. Item size, that's how much it fits in the inventory. So let's say you want C chest to be 1 by 1, just take up 1 slot, you can do that. Item behavior, I'm not sure what that does. Weight is how heavy it is. So if you have stamina enabled on your server, this will impact the weight. Slope tolerance, for the most part, you wouldn't need any of this stuff. So if you're going to change the description, you do this, custom chest for pathogen servers. Oh, so actually this is what pops up in the description when you hover it. Gen C chest, and then the short description, custom chest for pathogen survival Dayz. So it's basically pretty simple. This is just a basic config, then you would hit save. That's a basic override right there. Obviously, this won't work because I don't have an image file, folder. But I mean, that's pretty much it for just a basic mod override. Just kind of show you real quick. I should have. Here's one I did of the treeman. So never mind. No, override. So here's one I did for the Nom Nom Gacha boxes. Here's the config. So all I did was a reskin. So I changed the, as you can see right here, so Patient Z Gacha Cube. I changed it to add the Nom Nom Gacha Cube as a required add-on. Here's the class. You want to call the item that you're changing. So that's right here, Patient Z Gacha Weed. So this one will spawn, it basically gives an option for spawning weed. Scope is 2, display name, and then description short, I changed that. And then here's the graphic, so I'll show you that in a second. Materials, I didn't really change anything there. Probably could just delete that, don't need that technically. So I have multiple, so you can basically do this indefinitely. If you wanted like 15 different sharpening stones, each one that have like a different durability or different speed, stuff like that, you could have different levels like this. You would just call this. Now let's say I made it so that these gacha cubes are bigger. For example, I can make a base or change the gacha cube itself size and then reference it here, and that way it'll apply it down the board. Pretty simple, nothing too crazy. But if we go back to data, these are all the graphics. So I keep the PNGs in there and use Macaro to convert them. But we'll go ahead and change this. So This is a PNG I did. So this is the default one that it comes with. This is what it would look like when you take the PA for the Chibi Gotcha Cube and turn it into a PA file or a PNG file. And then here is the remake I did. So it actually turns out pretty well in game. We're going to go into Discord real quick and I'll show you. Down here, GFX. So this, oh, that's the other GFX channel. Here you go. So this image right here, where's the weed one? So this will turn into this in game. So those are all examples of stuff that I did. I usually try and stay a little bit safer, make sure I follow copyright law and all that jazz so we don't get hit with that later. These are all for open source for use. But that's pretty much it. And then basically you would just pack this up like a normal mod. I'll show how to do that later when all my tools are working. But for right now, that's just a basic video. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments. I'll try and get back to you. Otherwise, have a good rest of your day and stay alive.